Right, welcome to T-Boys TV. We're here for Premier League predictions. Usually I do these on a live stream, but from now on I'm going to do them exactly how I do the Championship predictions, pre-recorded. So yeah, let's get into it. So obviously it is game week 24. Obviously the first game is obviously tomorrow, and that is obviously Arsenal versus Aston Villa, or should I say Aston Villa taking on Arsenal, as it is at Villa Park. Going to be a very difficult game. Arsenal, the last three games have not been good enough. Obviously, a lot of people thought they would run away with the title the way they were going, including myself. I got sucked into it, but clearly not. Obviously, a loss to Everton, which I knew that would be a tight game, but I didn't expect them to lose. I thought the worst they were getting in that game was a draw. And obviously the draw to Brentford with controversy, but still I think Brentford played decent. And they are no mugs as well. And then obviously the City defeat, got humbled really. It was one of them. Taking on Aston Villa, Unai Emery as well, obviously former Arsenal manager. I think Arsenal were very harsh on him. Like the board and that when he was there. Felt if they backed him more, he would have done a lot better. And, he's a class manager. Look at what he done with Villarreal. Villa, it's not been too... I wouldn't say it's been the best since he's come in, but I wouldn't say it's been the worst. Obviously, it's been a lot better than when Gerrard was there. It's going to be a close one. And I can see Unai Emery's team pulling out something here, especially if how Arsenal have been. I'm going to go 1-0 to Aston Villa in this one. Moving on to the next game. This is going to be a very good game. Brighton versus Fulham. 6th versus 7th. Who the hell would have said that? Brighton obviously doing very well this season. Same with Fulham, especially Fulham's season back up from the Championship. We know what they usually do. They're usually flirting around the relegation zone or in there. This one's going to be a really good game. I can see this one having goals galore. Brighton probably will be the favourites because they're at home, but I'm going to go goals galore. I'm going to go exactly what I said for the last Fulham game, but it wasn't. I'm going to go over 2-2. I think there's going to be goals galore in this one. Both teams capable of scoring a lot of goals as well. So I'm going to go over 2-2. Moving on to the next game, another team doing very well this season, Brentford. They're at home taking on Crystal Palace. Now, Brentford at home, very good side. They've only lost once at home this season, and that was to Arsenal. They're just brilliant at home. Obviously, last home game got a, massive win. Well, I wouldn't say massive, but a huge win in the sense of the scoreline against Southampton. They're taking on Palace, who have been very inconsistent at times this season. Did get a decent draw to Brighton, though, in a derby. That's what we'll say. But this one, with it being at Brentford, I can only see it going one way. I'm going to go over 2-0 to Brentford in that one. Moving on to the next game, another team in London, Chelsea taking on Southampton. Obviously, Southampton sat Nathan Jones. Obviously, me being a Luton fan, it weren't great there. Don't get me wrong. I think a lot of the players didn't respect him, rare tear, but I still think they're going down either way. Even if they appoint whoever they're looking to appoint, I think Jesse March has turned it down or he's not going there now, I've heard. I think they'll go down either way. A couple good players, but a lot of the players are not good enough. However, it could be a new sort of bounce. A lot of them seem like they didn't want to play for him. It could be... with him going out, it could give him motivation to try and get something here against the Chelsea side who have been pretty poor this season. Obviously, losing midweek to Dortmund as well, which I did predict right. But Chelsea will look at it and think it's a game for them to go out and win, and I think they will, but I don't think it'll be easy. I think it'll be a close game. I'm going to go over 1-0 to Chelsea in that one. Moving on to the next game, moving up to Merseyside, the blue side. Everton take on Leeds. A massive game at the bottom. Obviously, Everton sit in the relegation zone. Leeds obviously just above it. Obviously, Leeds still manager, no manager. Obviously, lost to United. And then drew literally against United before that. Away, which was pretty impressive, I can't lie, especially with how United have been. Taking on Everton away, who obviously had that loss to Liverpool in the derby. They're obviously their only home game before that with Dyche, they won against Arsenal. Both teams needing points. I'm going to go for a 1-1. I'm going to go for a 1-1. Everton will probably be the favourites because they're at home. So they've got that win as well. People look at that win against Arsenal at home. Goodison Park can be good when it wants to be for atmosphere. But I'm going to go over 1-1. Go have a 1-1 in that one. Moving on to the next game, moving down to the Nottingham Forest ground, the City ground. Nottingham Forest taking on Manchester City. Now, Manchester City officially top of the league now after that win against Arsenal with a better goal difference. Taking on Nottingham Forest. Now, Nottingham Forest tend to do better against the top half teams at home this season. You know, look at, even though they're not top half at the moment, well, they are, but like top six. Liverpool obviously beat them, drew to Chelsea, lost to Tottenham narrowly. You know, they tend to do well. Only team they never seem to do well home or away against this season out of them so-called top six, from my memory, is United. Obviously, got battered in League Cup and League, etc. away, but that was away. So, yeah, it's one of them. But then again, they got battered at home against them in the League Cup. So, it's one of them. But they're taking on City. City will have a lot of confidence after that result. They needed a result against Arsenal. They got one. I can only see this going one way. I don't think it's going to be as high scoring as some other people may think. I'm going to go over 2-0 to City. I'm going to go 2-0 in that one. Moving on to the next game, Wolves versus Bournemouth. Another massive game at the bottom. Well, for Bournemouth anyway. Wolves are starting to, creep up there slightly, like towards the mid sort of table. This one is an interesting one. This one's an interesting one for me. Bournemouth obviously got that draw against Newcastle. Impressive draw, I'd say, especially given how Newcastle have been this season. Wolves obviously, got that win against Southampton, which obviously sacked Nathan Jones, which, with how the game went, people were saying if he loses that one, he'll probably go. Rightly so, Wolves were down to 10 men as well, and they still managed to win the game. So in that sense, yes, Wolves at home in this one. I think Bournemouth will go down, either way. I can see Wolves winning this one. As for a score prediction, I'm going 2-0. 2-0 to Wolves. I think their quality will shine through and their players that have more Premier League experience will shine through. So, yeah. Moving on to the next game, 5:30 game. I will be most likely doing a watch-along to this on my channel. Obviously, Newcastle United versus Liverpool. Liverpool is obviously my second team, as a lot of you would know. Going to be a very difficult one. Newcastle's only loss this season was actually to Liverpool, midweek game. That ended up being 2-1. Carvalho scoring the winner. How am I feeling going into this one? I'm feeling confident that we can get some sort of result, especially after that win against Everton. Yeah, it could be one of them where we've done that a few times where we've got wins this season, then played poor for the next few games. But I think it's a good time to play Newcastle as well. They keep drawing a lot of games at the moment that I didn't expect them to, like the West Ham one. I knew that'd be a close game though. The Bournemouth one, I thought they'd run away with it, to be honest. So I'm feeling pretty confident that we can get some sort of result. Lineup wise, I'll go with the exact same as Everton. So obviously that's Alisson in goal, Trent right back, Robertson left back. Both had a really good game. Alisson just done what he needed to do, really. Centre-backs, I reckon, actually, what did I go saying? I think Van Dijk will start, actually. I've heard today that he's probably going to start, I think Klopp said. So I'll go Van Dijk and I'll go Matip. So, yeah, and then the midfield, I'll go same as Everton. Bajcetic, what a player he's been this season. Hopefully it's not one of them where, obviously I want him to keep playing good, but hopefully Liverpool don't get fooled by it and go, oh yeah, because he's so good, we don't need a midfielder now in the summer, because I'll be fuming, because we still do. Bajcetic, Fabinho, Henderson, same midfield for me. And then up front, I would go, good to see Firmino and Jota back, of course, more options. And Van Dijk, of course, as well. I would go with the same. Gakpo, obviously, scored. Núñez through the middle. And then Salah on the right. And hopefully Salah keeps up how he was against Everton for the remaining half of the season. So, yeah, exact same lineup as Everton, bar Van Dijk. Van Dijk in for Gomez. As for score prediction, I said I'm confident Liverpool can get some sort of result. We're the only team to beat Newcastle in the league this season. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. I think confidence will be there. And I think Newcastle, like I say, they're drawing too many games at the moment. It could be a draw. It could even be a Newcastle win, but it depends what Liverpool turn up. But I think Liverpool now will have confidence. 2-1 Liverpool, hopefully, as well. And then moving on to the next game, moving on to the Sunday games. First game at Old Trafford, Man United versus Leicester. Now, obviously, Man United played yesterday in the Europa League 2-2. What a game that was, by the way, against Barcelona. I think going into the next leg, I think United will have him at Old Trafford, to be honest. Rashford, what a player. Ever since the World Cup, he's been brilliant. I have to admit, for me, he's world class. Without a shadow of a doubt now. Like, that goal was brilliant. You know, people go, oh, keeper got done near post and that, but just the power he put on it was just brilliant. And the way he's got it in from that angle. Wicked player, mate. Wicked player. I have to give credit where it's due. Taking on Leicester, who obviously doing very well. 8 goals in their last 2 games. Both winning 4-1 and 4-2. 4-1 against Tottenham at home and 4-2 away against Villa in the Midlands derby. Obviously not a big Midlands derby, but it's still a derby. This one's going to be an interesting one. United probably rotate a little bit after that game. Obviously, Barcelona are still in it as well. Obviously, for the game next week. But I think with United being at home, I think it'll be a close one. But I'm going to back United in this one. I'm going to go 2-1 to Manchester United in this one. And then moving on to the last game, London derby, might potentially do a watch along to this one. Not sure yet. Tottenham Hotspur versus West Ham United. Now, obviously, West Ham doing all right recently, getting a few draws, which is, putting them slightly away from the relegation zone. They're still near it, but, points closer to getting away from it in that sense. Taking on Tottenham, who have been pretty poor recently. Obviously lost during the week, 1-0. I said 1-1. I was close on that. To AC Milan, all to do in the second leg in that sense. And, in the league, it really been great recently. I think Conte not being there hasn't helped, because obviously we know what he can be like on the touchline, the motivation he brings. Class manager, without a shadow of a doubt. Taking on West Ham derby, it can get heated, these sort of derbies. These 2 teams have really great games over the past. I remember them, them times West Ham beating 3-2. Lanzini, what a goal that was. Shame there was no fans. That was a brilliant game. The Bale effect, he come on and, they lost the game. They ended up losing it as soon as he come on Tottenham. That's when he come back. I reckon West Ham will get something away here, especially without Tottenham have been. I don't think Conte will be back for this one either. So I'm going to go over 1-1. And I think if you're a West Ham fan, you're happy with that result, given, how they've been throughout most of the season. So yeah, I'm going to go over 1-1 in that one. So yeah, people, they are my predictions. As for the table, what it'd look like if results go the way I think. There you go. So interesting ones there. Brentford would move up to 6th. That's a big talking point after their win. Obviously, if it goes the way I say. And then obviously Brighton and Fulham drawing. And then I suppose the other bits, really main talking points is obviously United 3rd. How did I miss that one out? Only 2 points away from Arsenal if results went like that. For me, they're the 3 teams in it. A lot of people ruling United out of the title race. I think they're still in it. I think I've said it for quite a few weeks. I think it's City, Arsenal and United. I think Newcastle, I think they might get top 4. But yeah, I don't think they're in the race. And then obviously the other talking point, I guess, is obviously Everton drawing with Leeds would still mean Everton are in the relegation zone by only a point off Leeds. So it's all interesting. It's all interesting there. But yeah, we will see what happens. But yeah, they are my predictions for game week 24 of the Premier League. Don't forget to smash a like on the video if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you are new with the notification bell on so you never miss an upload or a scheduled stream. If you do want to follow me across any of my socials, link to them are in the description. Subscribe to my other channel as well, T-Boys TV Extra. Link to that is also in the description. Let me know your score predictions and all of that. And yeah, till next time, I'll see you lot in a bit. Take care. Peace.